Hello everyone, from the Novedge team, welcome to today's webinar, AutoCAD LT 2018, What's New and Improved. On March 28th, Autodesk released its latest version of AutoCAD LT. In this webinar, you will learn what is new and improved in the AutoCAD LT 2018, including new ways to repair broken external reference paths, maintain large selection sets, and convert text to Mtext. Today's webinar presenter, Scott Crider, is a product manager on the AutoCAD team with responsibility for identifying and developing new ways to delight AutoCAD customers, as you will shortly see. Before we get going, here's an overview of what we do at Novedge. Novedge is one of the largest online stores for design software, and right now and up until July 21st, buy or renew a one-year subscription to AutoCAD LT or Autodesk LT family product, and you can get a second one-year subscription at 50% off. Check out this and many other offers at Novedge.com. Novedge has a huge assortment of software solutions for every designer's needs. And for more daily software news and promotions, pay a visit to the Novedge blog and follow us on Facebook, Google+, or Twitter. Coming up next week, what's new in MathCAD Prime 4.0. Last but not least, today's webinar is free and is also being recorded. So if you want to rewatch it, you can just go on our Novedge YouTube or Vimeo channels. And now, without further ado, I'm gonna share Scott's screen, and he can talk you to all the new and improved AutoCAD LT 2018. Take it away, Scott.
Great. Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you, Novedge, for organizing the webinar, and thanks everyone for joining us today. As Barbara mentioned, in this webinar, we're going to be talking about what's new in AutoCAD LT 2018, so that those of you who have already upgraded can get the most out of your CAD software. And for those of you who have not yet upgraded, this will give you a chance to see what's inside AutoCAD LT 2018 and make an informed decision of whether or not it's something that you want to upgrade to. So this year marks the 35th anniversary of AutoCAD, meaning that the first AutoCAD was released in 1982. And we went down to the Computer History Museum in Mountain View, California earlier this year, and I found this awesome thing on the left here, which is actually AutoCAD from 1986. So I went back and found a video of AutoCAD in 1986, and that's what you're seeing on the right. It's pretty drastically different. It shows just how far we've come in these 35 years. In 1986, there was no GPU. It was totally built for the technology of the day. So I thought this was kind of fun, and this was a good way to set the scene of AutoCAD has been around for a long time, and it's constantly evolving to take advantage of new technologies and the new capabilities. Today, those new capabilities have exploded, right? Our expectations for what a CAD software is are drastically different than what they were in 1986. We expect applications to either update themselves or at least update seamlessly when we give them permission to update. We expect to always have access to our content wherever we are and in a way that is specific to our individual needs. The good news is that AutoCAD has changed along with our expectations. We now offer cloud storage, we offer mobile access, personalization, and simplified updates. So our goal is to be a design partner for you, to help you embrace new technologies and stay ahead of the competition and take advantage of the advancements in connectivity and computer processing power, which will deliver the future of making things. So each year we make a little step forward on this, and here you can see some of the things we've done lately. So all the way back to 1982, you can see some of the items that we've added in recent years. In 2017, we added the ability to import vector PDFs and edit them as editable DWG geometry. This year, we've improved the PDF import capability, delivered a new file format for improved performance, and enhanced our selection and X-reference management tools, all with the eye towards improving your productivity and helping you work the way that you want to. So let's jump in to the top features of LT 2018. First of all, as I just mentioned, this release comes with a new DWG file format. It's not uncommon for the DWG format to change. It changed in R14 back in 1997, 2000, 2004, 7, 10, 13, and now in 2018. So it's typically been about 3 years in between versions, except this latest version was actually 5 years. It was version 2013 until 2018. So we like to not change it, but we felt like it had been a long time and there was a lot of technology that we wanted to take advantage of. So this new format change, this update provides improvements in the efficiency of open and save operations, especially for drawings that contain many annotative objects and viewports. And additionally, it takes advantage of the latest 3D graphics and security technologies. So as always, you can save back to earlier DWG versions, all the way back to R14. If you have some collaborators who are stuck in the Stone Age and you want to send them a file, you can save all the way back. And you can open drawings that are in older formats. But if you save in the 2018 version, you'll get to take advantage of the same trusted DWG technology as well as the improvements in efficiency and performance, and as well as security. So let's start with the user interface improvements. They're pretty front and center and everyone always is excited. So our goal with user interface improvements is always to make incremental changes. We know that users don't want huge changes in the way they get things done, but small improvements do make a difference, and so that's what we've aimed to deliver here. So first off, if you ever watch Lynn Allen's tips and tricks for AutoCAD, you know that she recommends that you put the layer drop-down on the quick access toolbar. That way you don't have to go back to the Home tab if you want to change your current layer or make changes to the layers. And in AutoCAD LT 2018, the layer drop-down can now be added directly to the quick access toolbar by selecting it from the arrow menu. This also helps if you are someone who doesn't like the ribbon and you want to minimize the ribbon. You can keep that layer drop-down available in the quick access toolbar without needing the actual ribbon or a separate toolbar. Additionally, in 2017, we optimized many dialog boxes by removing unused settings and enabling you to resize them as you need. And in 2018, we've gone back to dialog boxes and made some more improvements by saving your sort preference. So if you go in and you open up an AutoCAD file, and instead of having the files sorted alphabetically, you want to have them sorted by modified date or something like that. You don't have to change that every time you go back into that menu. The dialog box will remember your sort preference and save it for you every time you come back. When you close the dialog box, it doesn't change anything. So that may seem like a little thing, but when you do it a lot, it makes a difference. Another change to the UI is the new sysvar monitor tool in the status bar. So in 2016, we added the sysvar monitor so that you could see the state of some of your most important sysvars. And this year, we added the sysvar monitor to the status bar. So it's not always going to be up. It will only appear if a change has occurred and it wants to notify you to make sure that it's a change you actually wanted and it's not going to negatively affect your drafting experience. So hopefully this helps keep you on top of your system variables and working effectively. Same AutoCAD you know and love, just a little bit better. Let's take a look at some of these changes. So here I am. I jumped into AutoCAD 2018. You can see we've got this sweet grading drawing here. And the first one, if I close my ribbon, okay, so here, if you like your ribbon closed, this may be what you're more used to looking at. And if I come up here to the quick access toolbar, I can add my layer panel. There you go. So there's your layer dropdown. I can now click here. I can see all of my layers. I can turn them on and off. I can freeze them. And I can do that without having to have the entire ribbon visible. I can just add the layer dropdown. So I happen to like the ribbon. It has its specific uses where I like to be able to quickly find items, and so I'll still leave it up here so I don't have to go back to the Home tab, but it's nice to have that option either way. For the sysvar monitor, let's take a look at that one. So one thing that we hear people talk about is AutoCAD crashed and it hadn't saved it hadn't backed up my files, and that can be very aggravating for users. So Sysvar Monitor can help you stop that from happening. There's nothing worse than working for an hour and having it crash and you lose all of your work. So if you come in here and there's this save time system variable that I've had added to this list. If you want to edit the list of what's visible, you can add items from this edit list. And you can add all of your system variables over here. I already put save time into what I want to monitor because that save time is pretty important to me. And that's how many minutes will pass before it auto-saves. So let's say that someone was messing with my CAD and they changed this from every 10 minutes save your drawing to every 65 minutes. And then they saved that. I would get a little monitor that will blink and appear in my status toolbar down here, and it'll show me someone has changed my system variables and I may want to check on it. And it'll blink at first to make you aware of it, but it does not keep blinking because we're not trying to drive you all crazy. But it's there. So I could click on it and it'll tell me, hey, someone changed your save time to 65 and it shouldn't be. So I would say I would reset that, please, and I want this to be 10. And I can reset my save time to whatever I want it to be and make it 10, and life goes on and I don't lose any of my drawings, which is pretty great. So and then the dialog box is saving would be if I went to open and I wanted to sort this by date modified. Next time I come in here, it'll save that save order. So I don't have to keep resaving it. So those are some of the improvements to the user interface. We also did a lot of work in 2018 on our support for high definition monitors or high PPI monitors such as 4K monitors. Over this last several releases, we've been expanding our support of these devices, but in 2018 we took even more significant steps in this direction. We appropriately sized the tool palettes, command line, status bar, and the view cube. So here you can see if you had opened up this CUI, here you've got the CUI dialog on the left. If you open that on a 4K monitor in previous versions, the text sizing wouldn't quite be right. Things would be kind of squished together. But in 2018, these are all sized appropriately. So although there may still be some infrequently used corners of AutoCAD that still have sizing issues, 2018 is the first version of AutoCAD to say that it supports 4K monitors. So hopefully those of you that use high definition monitors, this will help you get your work done without having to squint and look at all these kind of strange sizes. One of the really big changes that we made in 2018 is in the area of broken X references. So when we talk to users about feature areas that they'd like to see improved, broken X references was a very frequently mentioned item. In the past, if you moved the location of your externally referenced files, it could break the link to your drawing and none of the items would open appropriately. In AutoCAD 2018, we wanted to prevent broken paths from occurring and help you fix them when they do occur. So there's several different types of paths that you can set up when you're linking files together. With the path type set to full or absolute, it's easy for references to break if you change anything about the naming structure, especially when you're receiving drawings from someone else. So to help prevent paths from breaking, we've changed the default path type for reference drawings to relative, even for new unsaved drawings. So in the past, you would have to save a file before you could change the reference path to relative. Now you're able to have a relative reference path even for unsaved drawings. To do this, we added a new sysvar called ref path type. It'll be set to relative for reference drawings. You can change it if you want to by editing that sysvar. If you save a file with relative references to a new location, we'll also provide you the opportunity to automatically update the other external paths that are in the same drawing, which can be really handy so you don't have to go through and manually change all of those. There are also situations where you may break the path of multiple references at once, such as if you rename or move an entire folder that's the source folder for your drawing. When this happens, you'll notice that all your references break. So in AutoCAD 2018, we introduced two new ways to help you fix broken references. When external references are broken, you can go into the X reference palette to select a new path for that broken reference, And similarly, you can use the Find and Replace tool to update the path. And when you do that, when you fix these broken paths, you'll be given the option to apply that fix to all of your references in that drawing, which can be really, really handy. So let's take a look at this one. We got back into AutoCAD, and let's say that I want to open up a new file, and I want to open my landscape composite. You can see what it should look like. I'm going to open that up, and you can see it's sorted by date modified still, which is great. Okay, so I get the famous references not found error, and it asks, do I want to open the external reference palette, or do I want to ignore these unresolved references? And what I want to do is I want to open the external references palette, and here you go. You can see all of my different references that have not been found. So what I want to do is, there's no drawing either, right, because it doesn't know where to find anything. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to select buildings, and I'm going to select a new path. And when I do that, I'm going to go in, and since I already did this, it brought me directly to the folder. But if you didn't, you could navigate to the folder, whether it's on your desktop or on a file server. And I want to go to Buildings. There you can see. And I'm going to click Open. And it says, would you like to apply the same path to other missing references? And if I select Yes here, you'll see the magic cascade as all the files load, and magically my drawing appears. So it'll prompt you, do you want to fix your paths? And then when you come in here, you can have two different options. You can either select the new path, which is what we just did, where it opens up a file browser and you can go find the location of your saved files, or you can do Find and Replace. And Find and Replace is the exact same, except it says here's the existing saved path, and you want to replace it with this. You click on here, and it brings up that same browser. So there are two different ways of doing it. They both let you apply to all the other files attached to that drawing. And hopefully this will save you a lot of time and headache around when you rename a file or a folder that's storing your externally referenced files. For the path type, this is where you can see where we talk about making a path absolute or relative. Everything will default to relative. So here it's telling you I can make it absolute, but I don't want to do that because that just makes it more likely that I'll break my references. I want to leave them as relative. Great, so that's the improvements on externally referenced files. It'll save them as relative to avoid breaking them. And then if you do happen to break them, it'll let you fix them all at once rather than having to go do them individually, which can be really handy. So selection improvements. We also made improvements to the way that you can select items in AutoCAD 2018. This was another issue that frequently bubbled up in our customer interviews and on forums and blogs, was the difficulty of creating large selection sets. So in previous versions of AutoCAD, if you started a selection and then panned or zoomed to another area of the drawing, you would lose the items that you had selected in the original view. But in AutoCAD 2018, we made it so you can pan and zoom as desired to create a precise selection set, and all of your originally selected items will persist. Additionally, we've enabled users to select and snap to gaps in complex line types. So in the past, if you had a dashed line, if we go far enough back, not 1986, but we go back like 5 years, you couldn't select or snap to the lines and the gaps in a dashed line. You could only select the line segments, not the gaps. Now, recently we added the ability to select and snap to the gaps within a line. And in 2018, we extended that capability for complex line types, which are lines that include texts or numbers in the line itself, like this gas line that you see here. So if we pop back into our drawing and go to our site grading plan, here first, let's hide our palette. If I want to do a large selection, let's say I'm zoomed in over here, and I want to do a selection that's going to go all the way across. I can start my selection and then pan to get everything that I need. Maybe I want to get that too. And then when I stop, I go back. It's maintained my selection that I did originally before I panned and zoomed. So This means that if you're doing lasso, you can really move around and get a precise selection set and maintain all the items that you'd selected previously. So again, may seem like a rather small change, but it's something that we know you guys wanted, and so we worked hard to make sure that we could deliver it for you, and hopefully you'll find it useful. Let's take a look at the gap selection. I made a very suspicious, where is it? I made a very suspicious gas line here cutting across the field. So hopefully, here we go. Okay, so in the past you weren't able to snap to gaps at all. Now you can see I can select the line by hovering over the gap. Additionally, if I start the line command and I can come here, I can snap to that gap. I can snap to the line segment, but I can also snap to the gap. And this is for complex line types that have text and images or numbers embedded directly into the text. So hopefully that'll help those of you that use complex lines as well. And you can see it's up here on my gas line layer, which is up in my quick access toolbar. It's all coming full circle. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about PDF import, which was our big feature from 2017. PDF import, it introduced the ability to import vector PDFs into AutoCAD and create editable DWG geometry that you're used to working with. So in 2018, we improved this feature by enabling you to convert Shix text that fails to import properly and to select which fonts you want to compare against, as well as utilize best font matching, meaning that if the converter thinks that it's found a good font, you imported some Shix text with your PDF, it did not convert it into, so what happens when you convert Shix text is it'll become little lines instead of actually becoming a text object. So instead of being a T, it'll be a horizontal line and a vertical line. Instead of being an O, it may be a circle, or a bunch of little lines, even worse, that go into some kind of dodecahedron that looks like an O. So we added the ability to convert that Shix text that comes in as lines and arcs into actual text. And you can compare which fonts you want to look at. So you can say, I think I've got Simplex in here. I want you to compare all of these lines and arcs to Simplex and find and convert that into text. And you can do best font matching. So best font matching means you can see there's a recognition threshold here. So if the converter is 86% sure that this group of lines and arcs is Roman's text, I want you to convert it into text. So if you have a very high quality PDF, you can make your recognition threshold pretty high. If it was something that was plotted from AutoCAD directly to a PDF and you brought it right back in, that should be a pretty high quality PDF. It's only existed digitally, and the recognition threshold can be pretty high and you won't have any problems. If, however, you have a PDF that is not quite as high quality, you may need to lower your recognition threshold. And what would happen here is it would give you a match, but it may be less likely that it's the right font that it matches with. So the best font matching feature says if the converter is going through a list of fonts and trying to find the font that this actually represents, and it finds a match at 86%, I don't want you to stop looking. I want you to keep looking and see if there's a font that's even a better match. So I usually leave this checked. It doesn't hurt, and it can lead to a better outcome. So we hope that the Shix text recognition will be significantly better in 2018. But we also improved the text to Mtext functionality. So now these improvements include the better handling of formatting of text objects as well as spacing. And you can convert Mtext objects as well as text objects. So you can take two Mtext objects and mold those together. It's not just individual text objects becoming one Mtext object. We also increased the support of symbols, such as the degree symbol. We can convert that as well. So let's take a look at the vector PDF import workflow and see how that might flow from end to end. So I've got a PDF open here for a cabin with an upper floor and a main floor. This came out of AutoCAD. I plotted it to a PDF. And if I want to bring this back into AutoCAD, so you can see right now, this is just a PDF. I can't edit anything or change any of the lines, make comments. So I'm going to import that into AutoCAD. So if I go back and do a new drawing, and here, well, I'm already on the tab, but there's the PDF import capability right here. So I'm going to import our cabin PDF. You can see a little preview of what it looks like. I want to open that up. I'll be presented with a group of settings, so I can say, do I want to use the PDF layers? Do I put it on the PDF layer? Do I want to create a new layer? Do I want to import it as a block? Do I want to join the line and arc segments? The default selections are usually appropriate, but it's good to know what they are in case you want to change them. So I don't want it to convert to hatches right now. But if you did, you could do that. I do want it to infer line types from collinear dashes. So if I have a series of dashes, I want AutoCAD to interpret those as a dashed line. I don't want them to take it as 30 different small lines. So that's one I'll change, but most of them I leave the same. So let's import that and see how it goes. All right, there's our drawing. It's the same information as was in the PDF, but now if I go in, you can see it. This dashed line here, it has that as actually a line. This is a line. If I want to change it, I can do. I've got all the same grips, all the same modifications that I could do previously, and I don't really want to do that. But it's all editable DWG technology, the same way that you're used to drafting. So here I've got some text. If I want to, let's see, I want to get rid of this actually, because this is kind of blocking my way. Okay, but I've got text here, and if I wanted to convert that, so if I click on it, you can see this one, this D especially is very obvious. This is not a D. This is a series of lines and arcs that come together to form some facsimile of a D. So what I want to do is convert that from grass clippings, what we call it, into an actual text object. So I'm going to actually do both of them. So I want to recognize Shix text, highlight both of those, and it says, yes, 2 text objects were created. It successfully converted it. That's great. So now if I click on this, you can see it's a text object. That's no longer just these lines and arcs. These are actually text objects. And right now they're 2 separate text objects, but if I wanted to, I could combine that text together. So I'll do that, and now this is one text object that I can move, I can resize, I can do everything that I want to. So real quick, that's the workflow. Let's take a quick look at these recognition settings since we made some changes there. This is the dialog box we were talking about earlier, where you can see the Shix fonts that we compared against. You can check or uncheck as many as you want. If you check best font matching, it'll find the best one. It does take a little longer because it's cycling through more fonts to check against, but if I know pretty well what type of font I want it to be, I can just do a low setting and do that. Here's where you can change your recognition threshold setting. This was a high quality PDF that we had just exported from AutoCAD previously, so the recognition setting can be pretty high. And it gives you a preview of what the font looks like, so you can say, is that what you actually want? So that's the PDF import workflow. It's pretty smooth, and hopefully it saves you a lot of time having to redraft. So again, this is only for vector PDFs. This is not for raster PDFs. So if you have really old PDFs that maybe you've manually scanned through a printer, those may have trouble. But any sort of vector PDF, there's no more need to trace. You can just import it directly into AutoCAD. Great. So that's vector PDF. Now, we talk a lot about AutoCAD being everywhere. We talk a lot about ubiquitous access, how when you go home, you can access AutoCAD via our web application. When you're on a job site, you can use your smartphone or tablet. We definitely see a lot of people using the tablet rather than the smartphone. And you may not be drafting on your tablet, your iPad, but at least you can review drawings, you can take measurements, record comments, and then those will persist. When you go back to your desktop, you can open up a drawing if it's stored on A360 or cloud storage such as Dropbox. Those changes will be there. All your markups, all your measurements, all of your dimensioning that you did on site when you were actually there and could not forget anything, those will persist and be with you when you get back to the office on your desktop, which can be pretty great. Nearly 1 million people use the AutoCAD mobile app every month, so if you haven't checked it out, I encourage you to do so. It's available on Android, Windows Phone, and iOS. And it's not a mistake that we put the same drawing on every image here, every format, because that is really our vision, is be wherever you are. We want to help you get your job done in the office, at home, in the field, and we want you to have the same AutoCAD experience that you've grown to love and have that same file fidelity and data integrity no matter where you go. So we thought about doing a video demo of this where you actually can see me using the iPad, but technically that was a bridge too far, so decided to just embed a video. So here's a video of our AutoCAD mobile app in action. Here you can see we've opened a DWG on the iPad. If you want to draft, you can. Again, most people don't. You can do little markups and measurements and dimensioning, but if you do want to draft, say you want to put in a table or something like that, you can be very exact by entering angles and lengths directly. But if you don't want to, if you just want to make minor edits, you can drag in blocks, you can make changes to the drawing, you can copy and paste, as well as add dimensions and measurements. So here you'll see us adding some dimensions to a window that we have in our drawing. I want to do an aligned dimension and drag that out. This supports the Apple Pencil, so an iPad with the pencil actually works really surprisingly well. Very similar to a type of desktop experience. So again, if you haven't, I recommend you check it out. The mobile app is getting more powerful every day, and we see a lot of people using it in the field in even some very, very rough environments. It's pretty cool to see the way people are using it. Great. Cool. So that's what we had for the presentation of features. At this point, we'd be happy to open it up, and we wanted to make sure we had a lot of time for questions so that you could ask us any type of support or questions you have about the new release of AutoCAD LT. Yes, please don't be shy, although really I'm speechless. And wow, do we need to say more? If this doesn't convince you to upgrade, I don't know what will. And you never know where and when you will be needing to use AutoCAD. So I'm glad now I can bring it with me everywhere. So we're sticking around for a few more minutes, guys. Ask away. You can put the gin and tonic down. Okay. I have a cloud subscription with AutoCAD LT 2015. Can I upgrade at no cost? Cloud subscription? Yes.
Of 2018?
15.
Or
2015.
Is it a cloud subscription, or is it a perpetual maintenance subscription? We have actually two types of subscriptions.
Yes, Earl, if you can answer, if you can clarify, that would be great. Either cloud or maintenance.
If you have
it says standby.
If you have a subscription, a current subscription, then you should be entitled to do the upgrade.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, I don't know what's in the way to upgrade and get all these benefits. I mean, really, it's a no-brainer. And there's also great feedback, and thanking you, Scott, for the great presentation. And our audience seems to really like the new features. So thank you for the great feedback. Any other questions? Well, we'll be here a few minutes. Okay. I will read the question, but also I will assign it to John, who's here with us, John Page from Autodesk. So you can read it too. Does the new DWG format have better interoperability with Revit? It was hard work a couple of years ago with Revit DWG being quite different to AutoCAD's.
There hasn't been any specific work in the new format to do anything special with Revit.
So I'd say the two are kind of separate, right? The file format change is we are doing work. We're talking to the Revit team about interoperability all the time, but that work is separate from the file format change. There's nothing in the file format itself that will make it more interoperable.
Okay, so here's the question that we, sometimes pop up, a question like this. Dear Novedge, the new DWG format will give me grief. Please let me know if Autodesk will ever offer perpetual license to AutoCAD LT again. And I think the answer is no. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So we'll say the file format change is not something that's taken lightly, right? We know that it can be disruptive, but you don't want the same file format from 10 years ago. This is something where there are all sorts of, just like any type of technology, you want to be updating at some cadence for security reasons, for performance reasons. It just doesn't make sense to try to stay on a file format from 10 years ago. So we delayed changing. It was 5 years since we last changed it, but now we felt like there was enough benefit to our users where the change was worthwhile. So file format changes, again, like we hear your pain, we don't do it lightly, but we felt like there was enough in here where you don't want to be on file formats from 2013 anymore. Hopefully it's not too painful because you can still open all the old files. You can also save back to old versions if you need to. And eventually, you will be transferring files with people who have 2018, and everyone can be as secure and high performing as their colleagues. For the perpetual license, there's no plan right now to go back to selling perpetual licenses. We really feel like subscription is the best way to engage with software in the modern economy. It enables us to deliver higher value features more quickly. We're doing an update every year, right, where we will be providing not just these annual releases, but multiple releases throughout the year. And it enables everyone to move faster and to always be on the cutting edge. So we don't plan to go back to perpetual licenses, where we believe that subscription is the way to go, and that everyone will end up benefiting.
Okay, so thank you. That was a great answer, and no, there's no going back. So let's look to the future. Any other questions, you guys? We're here, so take advantage of this great team of experts. They're here for you. Well, we'll be waiting a few more minutes, and in the meantime, while we wait till anybody comes up with a new question or comment, I will take the screen back and show you my slide again so we can say goodbye properly in the meantime. Okay, I don't see any more questions. So I would like to thank everybody for joining us today. Thank you for attending our webinar. And I want to remind everyone to visit our page at novedge.com, where you can find the entire line of Autodesk products at the best price. And please take advantage of the buy one AutoCAD LT or Autodesk LT family product and get a second 1-year subscription at 50% off. This is a great deal, guys. Once set up your whole office for a big discount. For information on the latest specials, new releases, join the Novedge network on Facebook, Google+, or Twitter. And we just got another question, so I'm going to read it to you. Earl says, I have a 1-seat annual subscription. I consistently get prompted to upgrade. How is that?
So you have a subscription and you're continually being prompted to upgrade. It's because of the subscription. So we offer you or announce that we have updates available for you. I'm assuming that you're getting those through the Autodesk desktop app, which allows you to keep updated.
That's correct. Yes, and you don't have to, you know, upgrade every week. You know, you can do it in bulk, right? Every, I don't know, every 6 months. But I recommend everybody to just, you know, do it. The upgrades are great, guys. That's one of the perks of having a subscription. You're always on the cusp of, you know, what's next and the best. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, you're not forced to do that upgrade. It's really trying to be an awareness thing.
Yeah, you know, do it once when you have time and, you know, upgrade all at once.
The next time you're trying to select an item off screen, you can think back to this moment and what it could be like on 2018.
Right. All right. Thanks for the questions, guys. That's great. And please go ahead if you have more. In the meantime, I want to remind you what's coming next week. And it is What's New in MathCAD Prime 4.0. And to rewatch today's webinar or previous ones, check out our Novedge YouTube and Vimeo channels. Our webinar playlist has webinars for every software taste. And since we don't have any more questions, I'm going to thank Scott. Oh, wait. Okay. There's another comment. Okay. Earl says, I'm sure I don't use all of the features I've been using since 1986. What is the best source for a tutorial that would provide a demo of feature enhancements? We can send you an email probably, Earl, or we can contact you with some links. What do you say, Scott? I mean, I think...
Yeah, absolutely. Give us your email. I'd be happy to shoot you some information. The good news is there's tons of information out there. So the AutoCAD blog is a really good spot. They document new features, and you can search by release. Also, YouTube is a really good spot for third parties have done a ton of stuff. The nice thing about the AutoCAD community is we're really supportive of each other. So there's lots of content out there. AutoCAD blog is good. YouTube is good. You can also find sites that have release notes by year, so you can see if you really want to know, like in 2016, what was new versus 2017. You can go and find it by release, which is really nice. But if you, give us your email, and we'd be happy to reach out and send you some info.
Yes, I have Earl's email, and I will pass it on, Scott. In the meantime, great job, Scott. Thank you for today's great presentation. You definitely deserve a gin and tonic now. Have a great day, everybody. See you at the next webinar. Bye-bye.